What is a signal without a sender? If it is not alive, can it think? A single word can change everything. Log entry 734. We've approached the source. What is that? It has no mass. Some frontiers are not marked by worlds, but by voids. The Oracle Nebula, a region where the laws of causality seemed frayed. Initial entry revealed nothing but beauty, a silent cathedral of gas and dust, unchanged for millions of years, or so the chart said. The first anomaly was dismissed as a sensor ghost, a flicker of data too brief to be real, a statistical impossibility.
A single error is a glitch. A repeating pattern of impossible events is a signal.
The first transmission was not a wave, but a vector. It did not travel.
It did not travel. It simply was. The mission shifted from observation to investigation. For Dr. Eris Thorne, this was not just a machine. It was a promise, the last link to a life he had lost. The official mission was to investigate an anomaly. His true mission was to find her. A probe was deployed to get a closer look, to triangulate the source of the ghosts in the data.
But it was not prepared for what it would find.
The phenomenon was no longer passive. It reacted to the probe's presence. It was aware. The hunter had become the hunted. Every path was blocked, not by a physical object, but by a barrier of pure impossibility. Something was guarding the heart of the nebula. A single probe was insufficient. A new strategy was devised to surround the anomaly.
To observe it from all sides at once.
4 probes, perfectly synchronized, began their slow, cautious advance.
A net closing in on a ghost.
But the phenomenon was always one step ahead. It did not flee. It multiplied, confronting each hunter with its own personal impossibility.
The analysis revealed a chilling fact. The phenomenon didn't just react to the probes.
A net closing in on a ghost. It anticipated their final trajectories. It was precognitive. And in that moment, the crew felt something new. Not hostility or a warning, but something that resembled amusement. The ghost was playing with them.
Unauthorized handshake detected.
The crew tried every strategy they could devise. Every approach was met with a perfect, effortless counter. They were not playing chess with a ghost. Incoming transmission. And then, a realization. You cannot corner something that does not exist in your space. You cannot trap a shadow. The order was given. Stand down. The strategy shifted from active pursuit to passive observation. If the entity could not be caught, perhaps it could be understood. The hunt was over.
For months, the probes listened. They gathered petabytes of data
On every quantum flicker, every impossible energy spike, a library of apparent chaos. The computer began the impossible task to find a pattern in pure chaos, to find a signal within the noise of the universe itself. But it was not noise. Rotated through higher dimensions of space-time, a structure began to emerge from the static. Faint lines, impossible curves. And then, we saw it. Not a creature of flesh or energy, but a being of pure mathematics. A thought, casting a shadow into our reality. It was not a static object, it was dynamic, it was thinking. We were not looking at a map, we were looking at a mind. For the crew, it was a moment that redefined their place in the universe. The silence was not of confusion, but of profound reverence. They could study it, interact with its projection. It was a mathematical object, yet it responded to them, a ghost in their machine. It wasn't an attack, it was a shield. The Oracle wasn't a monster, it was a protector. It was a protector. But the most baffling discovery was this. Where the entity's shadow was densest, our probes found nothing. No mass, no energy, no object. The only possible conclusion was as terrifying as it was brilliant. We were not seeing the entity itself, but merely its footprint passing through our dimension.
We had become that could not be touched.
A single question remained. If we could not touch it, could we speak to it?
To speak to a being of mathematics, we needed a new kind of voice. Not one of sound, but of causality. Not one of sound, but of causality. A device designed to write messages into space-time. The first message was the most universal greeting we could conceive. A language any intelligence would recognize as artificial. The prime numbers.
And then, we waited. Having sent our message across a dimensional boundary, all we could do was listen for an echo.
For 12 hours, there was nothing.
And then, a single event, different from the others, brighter, more deliberate, a single word in reply. And then came the flood, a reply so vast, so complex, it threatened to overwhelm our systems. The Oracle was answering. The flood of data was not random. As the computers pieced it together, it formed a new shape, a response, a single, impossibly complex word in a language of pure geometry.
They don't speak. They only consume.
And when decoded, it was not a conversation. It was a gift, a data packet containing knowledge far beyond our own, a map to new frontiers.
And then, as suddenly as it began, it was over. The Oracle had spoken.
The Oracle had spoken and fallen silent once more, leaving humanity with a gift that would change its future forever.
The mission was over. We left the Oracle to its silent, unknowable existence. The journey home would be long, but the ship was carrying the future.
How does one process a gift of such magnitude? It was a key to a new chapter of existence.
It was a key to a new chapter of existence, a responsibility almost too heavy to bear.
The Oracle's gift was not just answers, it was new questions, new destinations.
A new path for a species that thought it knew the boundaries of its universe.
Received.
We went looking for life, for beings like ourselves. Instead, we found a law of physics that thinks, a mind that does not live, but simply is.
Our exploration of the universe is made possible by your support. Continue the journey with us.